Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode 382. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, nothing much. We got the Cthulhu Invades crew invading the podcast today again.
Nice.
For the fourth installment. Cthulhu is going to Fairy Tale Land, so all the grim fairy tale universe. Looking forward to that. Mr. Travis Gibb coming back. As much to my dismay and protest, he still shows up, but
yeah, and then also Pete Rosette, Brian Wolf, and Ed Davis eventually shows up. So good stuff in there.
Yeah, really cool. Looking forward to that. Huge fans of the Cthulhu universe, Cthulhu Invades universe. Can't get enough of that shit. So
we're poke quoted on the first volume, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do remember. And it feels so good. That's the only reason we did 400 episodes of the podcast, folks, is try to get pull quotes on covers. That was it.
It's true.
That's the only reason.
Still trying to get Ahoy to pull quote me. They pull quote me on the Twitter, but not on a trade.
No, we need it on a trade. On a trade on Dragonfly Man. That's when I can retire. I
don't write reviews for Dragonfly Man, so
yeah, I know. I'll just have to get Tom on the show and be like, "What are you doing, man? Come on." And that'll probably be the quote. What are you doing, man? Come on.
That'd be amazing. If that was the quote.
That would be an Ahoy thing to do. I don't know.
And that needs to be strictly given to you.
Yeah.
It needs to be, what are you doing, man? Come on.
And he's like,
Mike Ricker from the Fortress Comic News podcast.
This is the only trade we did it with. It's like a sticker. Someone writes it with Sharpie.
Oh, it's so great.
Here you go.
So did you see this week that McDonald's announced, I think it's coming out, well, tomorrow's a recording, but it'll already be out for everybody listening, that they're doing collector's meals and they're bringing back the cups?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They are?
And I believe, Mike, I got to look it up now. I believe there's a Shrek cup.
That's amazing.
McDonald's collector meals. There we go.
My love-hate thing with McDonald's is like, I do love that they reported that this is the year they've like lost the most money because of how expensive McDonald's is and how like crappy the food is. But you definitely know somebody in the McDonald's office was like, break glass in case of like red earnings this quarter, and it was like a Shrek cup. Like, we gotta bring the Shrek cup. These people will show up in droves.
So it's Barbie, Hot Wheels, Beanie Babies, Hello Kitty, Peanuts, McDonald's themselves with a Grimace cup, so you know they know what they're doing, and a Shrek.
Wow. And
let me see. It's the New York Post.
Yeah.
You're being annoying with your pop-ups.
Yeah, they want you to like pay for ad-free shit. No, get out of here. Come on.
Here we go. More all these stupid websites. Listen, print media is dead, so they need pop-ups. It's just the way it is.
We also don't need to promote McDonald's more than they've already have the business.
Oh, we do, because look at these glorious bastards.
Oh, damn, those are really cool. I gotta get the Shrek one. The
Shrek one's so good.
I know. Yeah.
Greatest cinematic universe of all time.
Shrek
5 coming out, and a donkey movie.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess we could talk about D23 because that's the elephant in the room, the gargantuan billion-dollar, trillion-dollar company elephant in the room. D23 was this weekend, and there was a lot of shit we had announced that we can't see. Some trailers that dropped that we won't see, not until probably next week. But so the big things, I guess we'll just jump right into it. Daredevil Born Again trailer was released, and we got some cast photos and stuff. People are talking really highly about it. Punisher was in the footage along with Kingpin, possibly first sighting of White Tiger. The biggest thing is like you have Karen Page and Foggy coming back when originally like they were like, oh yeah, I'm not going to be in the show. Bam. They rewrote the script to have them in the show. I think that's amazing because I think the support system of Daredevil held the show up just as much as Daredevil.
If I remember correctly, Charlie Cox like pushed really hard.
I'm like, we would have watched it either way. Like Charlie Cox is great, but like Foggy is, I think, probably my favorite character on the show.
Daredevil is I know I'm known for Captain America, and like I've really thought it over, and like Daredevil's my favorite Marvel character.
Yeah,
hands down. Like, and to have a series named Born Again, which for Daredevil fans is that's like Crisis at fucking DC. Like that's the name.
Yep.
And is important. And yeah, Daredevil is a great character, but just like any great character, the supporting staff around him is what makes him great. You can only go so far with just the character.
Do you think we're getting a yellow suit?
100%.
Oh man.
I've heard
it's gonna be like construction worker yellow.
Well, if you remember, did you watch She-Hulk, right?
No, I didn't watch She-Hulk.
He had the yellow suit in She-Hulk.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. So I've heard that there's multiple suits.
Okay.
So I think I don't know if we'll bring back like the headband, which is Daredevil's worst suit. 100% have like the pure red, 100% have the yellow and brown. And then I think that they'll do an all black.
Which just go full Batman. Just do it.
Well, they've done it in the comics. Like it's happened.
Right.
I think it was the Shadowland event that it happened in.
Right. He might be blind, but his enemies aren't. So
no. And it's hilarious to me that the blind superhero accessorizes.
Yeah. That's the best part. The little Daredevils and all, like the Ben Affleck one with like the like latex gimp suit and the branded staff with like, you know, DD on it and everything. It's like, wow, dude, really?
It's good stuff. I love Daredevil, you know, blind man with superpower sight. It's just good stuff. And yeah, bringing back Punisher with what's his name to be Punisher? Bernthal?
John Bernthal. Yeah. That dude is so fucking cool.
And he was just so good as Punisher. Like the series wasn't great, but he was great.
And even like everything he's been in, like Walking Dead had its slumps, but that dude was always the best. Like
yeah, he was awesome in that.
Yeah.
And like he played a deranged, like I love the way they took Shane in Walking Dead.
Oh
TV. So because spoilers for the comic, but he dies pretty early in the comic.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he just gets deranged by the end. Is great. So yeah, they could show me nothing and I'm there for day one. So it says Daredevil. Like I could turn it on. It could be Ben Affleck back as Daredevil and I'll at least watch it.
You'd be like, all right, I got to check this out. How this is happening. Yeah.
Well, let's see what's happening.
Yeah. During a panel for the upcoming event series, Black Panther Eyes of Wakanda, it was hinted that Iron Fist would appear in the series. The filmmaker said that the series would include heroes from other secret cities whose names we would recognize and that one had a glowing fist. They did not say if it would be Iron Fist per se or whether or not it would be played by Finn Jones. So first off, let's hope it's not Finn Jones. Second off, all right, as a dude who's been, you know, we got the Shang-Chi movie, that was it. But a dude that's been, you know, dying for some kung fu in my Marvel, even DC universe, to hint that we might see an Iron Fist in the Wakanda movie, that makes me happy. That also makes me interested in the story if we're bringing all these secret societies together and like having maybe a world tournament, like Mortal Kombat style. I would love that shit. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but gives me hope. And I guess we'll see.
Speaking of Mortal Kombat real quick, you saw the Conan the Barbarians coming to Mortal Kombat 1?
Oh, I did not see that. That's amazing.
Dude, it's fantastic. And it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was going to say, is it Arnold? Oh, yeah. Man. They added the Terminator.
Yeah, the Terminator. Yeah. So Arnold Terminator is in like Tekken, I think.
Yeah.
But in this set, there is a Terminator, but it's the T-1000 from the one from T2 that like fucking melts
the metal one. Yeah.
Back to Black Panther.
Yeah.
I think personally it won't be Finn Jones because they haven't out. The Marvel Comics, as you know very well because you've read them, I haven't, has done a very extensive job of making this Asian Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And I think that's who we're getting.
Which is fine.
It's going to be somewhat, because they're going to try to make Iron Fist in the MCU more of a, like Black Panther. Like he has his city and he's the protector of this city, which is fine. I do like the idea of the original Iron Fist, but
but also
I get it's an out for them and they can like ignore Finn Jones.
Well, because I mean, like Shang-Chi, he's got his secret society, right? Like, but he lives in the city now. And then we bring Iron Fist. Oh, he also lives in the city. It's like, okay, we got all these kung fu mumbo jumbo going on, but they all live in New York City. You know, Daredevil's in New York City. Let's just to have a kung fu show take place in like a some other secret society, which also one of the really good, like Immortal Iron Fist, really good run if nobody's ever read it, where you're fighting these other clans within the society. There's one that like spider people, you know, there's big people, whatever. They all have like their shtick, but yeah, just give me this, do it right. And like you said, if they treat it like Wakanda, they're all trying to protect their identity and secrecy. Maybe some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, it makes me very interested in what they're going to do with the Black Panther movie.
Yeah, this sounds really cool, and I'm there for it either way. I would like to see the original Iron Fist because I think it's a cool story.
Yeah,
and I know like the trolls on the internet, they're hate on it. Like, just don't listen to them, because it's a cool concept. But I understand that the comics have done work to make this other Iron Fist a certain way, and I'm sure that's to push something for the movie so that they can retcon Iron Fist.
Also, one of the coolest origin stories of any comic book superhero is fighting a dragon for your fucking powers. Like, I mean, you want your powers? You need to fight a dragon.
I mean, not as cool as your parents dying, but yeah.
Yeah, well, in petty robbery, yeah, in the back of a movie theater. You're right. Sorry, that's way cooler. It's been shoved down our throats so many times. Or abandoning your child to a distant world. Yeah. What more could you want? Marvel showed off footage of Marvel Zombies, once again, only to the people at D23, said, and said there would be another one of their so-called event series, 4 episodes long, and be their first TVMA series. No release date was given, but it's still expected for 2024. So looking forward to that trailer. I know you are. Yeah,
and I guess like Shang-Chi and a few other Kung Fu heroes were shown in it too.
That's
what I've heard.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Yeah, I love Marvel Zombies. I'm there for it. They said it's like a spinoff of the What If episode. So it's definitely going to be that style and that version of the Marvel Zombies. That's fine. Yeah. I personally believe we're going to talk about the Agatha All Along series. That starts in September. I would love to do the math. I didn't do it because I couldn't really find how many episodes it's going to be. But I will bet that they are going to release Marvel Zombies after that, and it's going to hit right around Halloween. That's where my money's at.
4 episodes every week in October or something like that. Makes sense.
Well, yeah, maybe like mid-October and it ends like mid-November. Because I would assume Agatha is going to be 8 to 10 episodes. It's starting with 2 in mid-September. That could end it like well, it depends how they release it, but it could end like mid to late October. Then you jump right into Zombies. You know, and then they've got their thing for December already announced. I bet you if like we knew the episode counts, the math works out where it's going to go from Agatha into Marvel Zombies into the new Star Wars show. But let's not get too much into that. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Speaking of that, Marvel showed off the first trailer for Agatha All Along, which featured a release date of September 18th. So we got about a month now, folks, before that comes out. Completely forgot about this character, to be honest. Don't know if she was supposed to get her own show, but immediately we're in fall, Chris. Fall has fallen. Fall has fell, and I'm getting some witchy October vibes from this.
I don't think she was supposed to get her own show. Like, it wasn't on the schedule. People fell in love with her in the was it WandaVision she was in? Yeah. I watched this earlier, and I'll tell you, it has a Wizard of Oz meets Evil Dead vibe to me.
Yeah, it definitely a little black magic-y occult.
Yeah, like this early stuff is like Bewitched.
Yeah,
like, you know, older kind of
or like Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus was the one.
Hocus Pocus vibes with the hairdos and a lot of the imagery, very Hocus Pocus.
But then you see Audrey, I forget her last name.
Yep.
Coming out, and that's when like kind of the Evil Dead stuff starts. You can see they're on a road. Wizard of Oz. They end up meeting, like, there's a witch in here that's straight out of fucking Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Later on, they're right there.
That's literally the Wicked Witch.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So there's things happening. My only concern with it, for me personally, because this is just the type of consumer and viewer I am, is it hints at some musical vibes. And if you've ever seen how they promote musicals, they won't promote musicals as musicals.
Because, no, they don't anymore. They hide it.
Because musicals are not popular.
Right.
And it's just pure fact, like people won't go see them.
Yeah.
So, but there are moments in here where I'm like, there's a musical scene there, and I'm not a musical guy.
Oh yeah, somebody's breaking out into a number for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, at least once it's happening, because that was kind of Agatha's big thing at WandaVision.
Yeah.
But I hope it doesn't. It's not like a 100% musical, because that's gonna bug me. Just as, like I said, my taste and what I am.
Yeah. I mean, it looks interesting. I don't really get the vibe of it because some of it looks pretty serious and dark. Some of it looks kind of wonky. You see like the Exorcism reference. Like they look like straight from the Exorcist movie and straight from Wizard of Oz. So I don't know what's going on there. It might be a little too gimmicky. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
It's a weird clash because I remember I was watching it and I'm like, okay, so they're doing a Wizard of Oz thing. Right. And then like people start doing the weird body horror things where I'm like, this is like real, like heavy Evil Dead shit.
But like her character was very serious in the show.
To an extent.
Yeah. But also, I mean, so we'll talk about, we see the glimpse of Wanda Maximus's body is dead. We get a toe tag. So everything's taking place post Infinity War.
I mean, I assume it's
well,
I guess I'm assuming after it's after the
show, right after the Vision show,
WandaVision. Yeah, because they do mention the Darkhold, and I can't remember if it was that the Darkhold had been taken from her or she was on a quest to get it. But yeah.
Well, then we had from WandaVision, we had oh man, now I'm starting to get my head all messed up here. The Doctor Strange movie was after WandaVision.
Yes. So
Wanda was evil.
Yep.
And then did they kill her officially? See, now this is where the continuity started to hurt my brain, Chris, because I was like, I don't remember what happened to her at the end of that
Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness.
Yep.
Wanda
is dead? Question.
Well.
Yeah.
Let's see what Google AI has to say.
Yeah, Google AI, can you solve this problem for us right now? I don't know.
Appears to die when she destroys the Darkhold Castle. Yeah, so she's dead. Yeah. Okay, she's now dead. I'm remembering. Yeah. So she's dead, but we don't see a body. So she's not dead.
So we see a body in the trailer.
Could mean she's dead.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe she'll show up. I guarantee, like end of the series, she pops up.
If she's dead, and like you said, you saw that's their way of doing what I'm always joking about was I don't believe they're dead until I see a body. They're going to show the body. Like,
we'll see.
So, but we'll see. I think it looks interesting. It looks different. We'll just see how I feel about like the overall of it when it's done.
Well, let's talk about the thing you're probably more excited for. The first trailer was shown for Star Wars Skeleton Crew with a release date of December 3rd. Star Wars in December, folks. We're back.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You tell me.
This I'm like not super excited for. I'm going to watch.
Okay.
Because I'm not much of a fan of like kids.
Okay.
And I love Stranger Things, but that's like the outlier. Like I don't really care for Goonies and I don't really care for E.T.
Right.
And like stuff like that. Like I know they're good movies. It's just not something I'm into. It does seem like they're going with a because you see some of the imagery they just showed there is like the covers from the Wild Spaces movie or books.
Yep.
Which is all based on like kids going around doing Star Wars.
I do think it's interesting. We're on like a planet in Star Wars that's like modern Star Wars, like Star Wars universe, but like modern era, right? Like
it's like a suburb.
Yeah, you're in a suburb. It's very like 1980s. It could be 2000s, like, but with Star Wars and a slew of creatures, Jawas.
And obviously the kids are gonna get some ship and go on some adventure and all this stuff. I'm sure it'll be fun. It's just not. It would shock me if it became like my favorite Star Wars thing.
I do. I mean, I have to think Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau at the start of the credit roll there being involved helps.
There's Jude Law as a Jedi.
Yeah, Jude Law as a Jedi. Interesting. Haven't seen him in a while. So, yeah, this one looks pretty hopeful.
I'm sure it'll be good. It's whether or not like I'm super into it that I'm concerned about.
Yeah, and not the. I didn't have this picture in my head when someone said Star Wars Skeleton Crew.
Yeah,
I think that might be it.
I also was like weird because I
thought a ragtag bunch of kids like flying a ship. You know?
Well, I thought at some point this was, and I might be mixing this up with another announcement because there's been so many Star Wars announcements over the past like 10 years. But I thought this was supposed to be an animated series at one point.
There's definitely not, because I don't think we ever talked about this being like a ET Stranger Things, like kids grouped together and fight something thing, you know?
Yeah, it is strange, but I've seen some like people really talking highly about it so far, like thinking it looks really cool. So there's a portion, there's always a portion of the fan base that's excited for something. Like there's a portion of the fan base that loves the Acolyte. It sucks, but but I'll be there to check it out. I just don't. It's not what I want,
right?
And especially coming off of the Acolyte, like I would have rather this waited and maybe give me like the next season, The Mandalorian or something, something in between, or Andor, just something in between to like kind of palate cleanse.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The terribleness that was the Acolyte.
Yeah, give you something nice, palate cleanser. Interesting. You know, D23 stuff. Hopefully, get some trailers soon about all that, about the stuff we haven't seen. So,
I will say though, there is kind of a palate cleanser between because that new game, Star Wars Outlaws, is coming out.
That's true.
And I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. We didn't talk about here. Incredibles 3 was announced. Brad Bird coming back.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy that coming back for the end of the trilogy. Don't know how I feel about that yet. And then Toy Story 5. Not comic book related to anybody, but I do want to point out, I think it's funny that they're like fighting against technology and like kids with tablets. Is that like that's going to be the new Toy Story thing? Is like, let's just write in whatever generation kids are playing with nowadays. Like, yeah, I don't think we needed another one. I really don't. It's not for me.
Like I like the Incredibles, and you could do the Incredibles at a time. I think, like that's fine. Yeah, I think Toy Story, like we said, was needs to be. I'll be there to watch it. Don't get me wrong, because I love Toy Story, but yeah, we've said what needs to be said about Toy Story.
Yep.
And I believe one of the actors from Toy Story died recently.
Did he?
Oh. Yeah, the guy who played the T-Rex.
Oh yes, yep, you're right.
Toy Story
that was this year, I believe.
T-Rex.
The green T-Rex, yep.
His name is Rex. I mean, of course it is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Rex the T-Rex.
Portrayed by Wallace Shawn. Yeah, who passed away like a few months ago.
Damn. Yeah, I think we might have talked about it. I don't know.
I don't think we did in the show, but I remember like seeing it and being like, "Oh, it sucks," because I liked him and I like Rex.
Right, Rex is the coolest character, I think. Well, the dinosaur, right?
Yeah, he's a dinosaur, so it's real easy.
Umbrella Academy came out. I have not watched it yet.
Okay.
Have you watched it? All the episodes?
No, just 1 through 3.
Okay. What do you think?
So I just rewatched seasons 1 through 3.
Okay.
And so I literally like the day before it came out finished season 3.
Okay.
Which was a good like reminder of A, how good this fucking show is.
Yeah.
But B, like where everybody was. I wasn't like the first episode I did not like. Nobody has powers. There's a time jump, and they're all just kind of living mundane lives, doing their thing. And they feel like this is like, okay, we beat the end of the world shit. We can kind of all chill. But of course, they're not happy because they don't have their powers anymore. And I thought the funniest part is Five is a CIA agent now.
That's funny.
And then like it slowly gets in, and I mean spoilers, but I don't know how this would be a spoiler. They eventually get their powers back.
Of course, yeah.
it's weird because it's been so long and people change over time. I get it. But like everybody looks different and to the point where it can be distracting at times.
Right.
Like Diego is like a father at this point, and like he's like overweight and has a bad mustache.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And Klaus is a germaphobe who like wears a mask all the time and gloves and Luther's a stripper, and I'm not quite sure if he had plastic surgery or not because he just looks way too handsome.
That's so funny.
And then what's the sister's name?
I can't remember.
Anyways, she looks different as well. Like they all just look different, and just, that's the passage of time. And then there's Elliot Page, who's gone through a transformation. It's not hitting the highs of the previous 3 seasons yet.
And that was kind of like the worries we had. It was like, okay, maybe it's not going to be as good.
This is the last season. They've said definitive ending, all that stuff. And we'll talk more about Umbrella Academy in the comic section. But it's not that I hate it. It's just that it's not there. And like
you probably didn't need it.
Well, a good chunk of the reason it's not like there for me is 5 was my favorite character.
Right.
And 5's the main character of the Umbrella Academy.
Right.
And he's just not 5 anymore.
Right.
He's not as like sarcastic and like smartass. He's much more mellowed down and like realistic. And then Ron Swanson, I forget the name now.
Yep.
But he's in it with his wife is also in it. And what's funny is the main story arc is that they have this like cult that believes that there's alternate timelines that have been meddled with, and this faction of kids known as the Umbrella Academy. So they're made out to be these like wackos who believe these weird conspiracy theories, and the entire time you're watching, you're like, yeah, but they're right.
Right? Yeah, they've been right the whole time. That's funny. Yeah,
like they're not. Why are they the bad guys? And I'm sure that'll be explained at some point, but it's just taking longer to get to the point.
Right. Yeah. Why are we here?
Seasons did.
Yeah.
So we'll see once I have it all watched, which I'm hoping by next episode I will. I'll have deeper thoughts, but as of 3 episodes in, I'm just not quite there with it as opposed to how the other seasons were.
Yeah, I'm probably going to finish up Batman before I get into that.
I was gonna say I watched episode 2 of Batman too, and I really loved it.
Yeah,
and I don't know if you noticed that episode. The executive producer is a Mr. Ed Brubaker, and the man who wrote the episode is a Mr. Greg Rucka.
Pretty awesome.
I can tell you why that episode is so good.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Borderlands came out this weekend, and I'm not. It's not for me. I'm not going to see it. I may see it one day, but can't help but notice the 6% or 3% on Rotten Tomatoes when I last checked.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes also has Star Wars Acolyte at like 82, so I don't really care about that.
I know. Metacritic has. I mean, everybody's. But anyways, what did you think as a big Borderlands fan?
It's okay.
Okay.
It's nowhere near as bad. Like that's my problem with reviews. Is it's either the greatest thing that's ever happened or the worst.
Right.
Nothing can be just okay.
Yeah, nothing can be just a movie you want to watch.
My suggestion is for anybody out there, whether you're a fan of Borderlands or not, just wait for it to come to streaming. And like one afternoon, it's an hour 40, so it's actually a short movie these days.
Yeah, that's true.
It's enjoyable enough with like a loved one or just a couple of friends, and it's a stupid action movie with some laughs in it. Like it doesn't. I don't get what people went in thinking it would be.
Right.
And I remember some people being like, it doesn't follow the lore of Borderlands. Listen, I'm a huge Borderlands fan. What are we talking about? The lore of Borderlands, people.
You have a video game that has the lore of Borderlands.
It's it's a video game based on memes, people. Like I love it, and I can be honest with what it is.
Right.
So like, don't give me the lore of Borderlands. I think the most disappointing part of the whole movie is that Kevin Hart isn't that funny in it.
Oh, I just don't like Kevin Hart is my problem.
I love Kevin Hart, and this is his worst role, in my opinion.
Really? Oh, wow.
He just plays an action star with like a few quippy moments.
That's funny that they didn't use him comedically.
Yeah. It's actually other things. The best part of the show, and this I expected this because he's the best part of the game too.
Yeah,
is Claptrap, that's voiced by Jack Black.
Jack Black, yeah. I had a feeling that'd be good. That's the best part.
So I would say don't go into it with low expectations. Don't like skip it because of the reviews, but wait for like a streaming service to grab it where you can just sit down an afternoon and you want to have fun with a stupid action movie.
Yeah,
and you'll enjoy it. Yeah,
cool. A little bit of comic news. You know, it's
it's almost like San Diego Comic-Con was recently.
Yeah, it's the calm after the storm of San Diego Comic-Con. So we talked about Umbrella Academy a little bit. While being interviewed about Umbrella Academy Season 4, artist Gabriel Ba was asked by comicbook.com if there are any other of his titles he'd like to see adapted for, you know, TV movies. And he said, I don't know. I don't really think about that much. You know, I love comics. That's what I do. We're working on one more Umbrella.
Working on more Umbrella.
On more Umbrella. I have more projects going on. Yeah, we're working on the 4th volume of Umbrella. So, wow, confirmed the 4th volume of Umbrella Academy coming out. So that's interesting.
Yeah, and then Stephen Blackman, the guy who's the showrunner for the Umbrella Academy TV series, said that they took some of Ba and Wei's notes for Volume 4 for the season.
Oh, okay.
So, like, Volume 4 should follow somewhat what this season's doing. And he said that while they wanted to end it here and felt like this was a natural ending point, he claims that the way that the comic ideas were presented to him, it was not the ending point.
Oh, interesting.
So we could be going further than 4 volumes.
Wow.
Which is cool. Like I said, where the show is and how I'm feeling right now, if it doesn't get better, even if it does get better, I'll just be happy for it to be done and to be a finished product.
Right.
And I will follow, like, Umbrella Academy. It's going to be tough, but I got into it late.
Me too.
And I would love to go back and like get those issues. And even though I have like the library editions of it and everything, I just get the issues and have it because it's one of my favorite comics, like, ever.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I'll have to go back and reread some of that stuff.
Yeah, so I'll follow them for. I mean, if they do a new Umbrella Academy every couple of years, that's cool. Fine. Yeah, I'd love that.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, let's talk about what we read this week. I have a lot of stuff that I'm still catching up on while reading through. Still reading through not Barbaric, Berserk, the manga, which I love. I read Rook Exodus 4. And I'll say right now, you know, there's a big fight with Ursa, and Rook gets thrown over this waterfall, literally a cliffhanger at the end of the book. But he's holding the helmet of his friend. There's no way he doesn't put that, like, warthog helmet on and control some warthogs. He has to, because there was a whole interaction. It's like, I will defend this pig with my life. You know, like, okay, they're gonna meet up again.
Well, remember, I can't remember what issue it was. It might have even been 4. But the warthog helped them with something. Yeah. And then he's like, go be free.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was the issue. Yeah, he's like, go be free, and then he was defending. He was about to fight one of the dire wolves for it, and I was like, okay, this is coming back. I think. Yeah. If I've read enough stories in my life, especially
since he's made a big fuss about like not feeling a connection with the crows.
Yeah, and like before he got it last time, I was like, they will never listen to me, and then he loses. It's like, okay. There's some stuff I got to read. I got to read Space Ghost 4. I got to read Epitaphs from the Abyss. It's on my list. Bat Identity Crisis #1, amazing issue. If you love fun with comics, if you love any of the Super Pets, the Watchmen scenes as the dogs were amazing. You know, the big like high points of the Watchmen series. Seeing that in like a small 7 or 8 page stories are really cool. It's just fun. We need more stuff like that. All the different creatures and animals on. It's just a good time. Saga 67. I put, it was all right. They're on a circus ship, and Hazel might be joining another band. So I haven't seen this before, Chris.
You know, it'd be nice, Mike. Yeah, is if we didn't take ear breaks in between, so we didn't have to reintroduce everything to a new audience every time we came back.
Yeah, and then have her join a band again. Yeah.
That's whatever, but like that whole issue, I'm just like, why are we reintroducing? Like, I've been here for 66 issues. Right. I don't need a reintroduction.
Yeah, I know. That's and you waste like half the issue with it.
This is the equivalent of DC always telling me that Batman's parents are dead.
Yep,
that's what they're doing.
They gotta do it. Task Force 7 VII number 3. I like this issue. This is part of the whole, Amanda Waller absolute power thing. I like this issue because we mostly deal with the JSA. And it talks about how the robot, the robots that Amanda Waller has like working for her, absorbing everybody's powers. They're Amazos. He absorbs Alan Scott's Green Lantern power, and when he does that, they call it the Star Heart, which is his Green Lantern power, and he starts to have his own free will and like feelings, and starts to disobey Amanda Waller. So it was a really cool issue. He leaves the rest of the JSA like he's there and he's going to fight them, and Alan Scott kind of like reasons with the Amazon. Was like, listen, I'll just go with you and teach you how to have free will. And the robot seems to start going against Waller and like leaves them alone. So I thought overall was a pretty cool issue, mostly because it revolves around the JSA. Vicious Circle number 3, finally. I'd say the ending might have fallen flat for me after the months and months of waiting. I think overall it's a good story. Lee Bermejo's art carries this book, because I think without that art, it really would be lacking as a story. It's weird because they keep changing. They keep trying to change the past to save the world, and they keep going through a vicious circle. And I mean, it kind of proves that they can't change anything, and that they're just like completely never ending. They can't change the past. They can't save their loved ones. And then the end of the story just ends with them, because they keep going through different timelines. A caveman ends up finding a knife and a gun left aside, and that's how the book ends. Yeah, it just didn't do it for me. I don't know. I think it was an interesting concept. I think it kind of just fell flat with the ending. They just didn't know where to go with it. And also, it's been, I don't know, 6 months since because we talked about it at the end of the year last year.
And it was a big announcement a few months ago that it's coming back. So
yeah, weird. So
I'll let you know what I think when I read it.
Yeah, that's all I got to this week. I got another list of shit to get through.
So you didn't read Absolute Power number 2?
No. Oh, I missed one. Sorry.
Go ahead.
The There Will Be Dragons Part 2. For the Godzilla book. Sorry. Godzilla Sorry, it's a long title, everybody. Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons Part 2. Sons of Giants. And I can't remember what issue that is. 3 maybe. Frank Thierry and Aki Miranda on the art. So it's crazy because we get the secret society that like worships kaijus. We basically find out that like all these old school stories like Beowulf and like ancient myths, Beowulf, the story actually involved him fighting a kaiju instead of like this other monster. And we find out the main character is a descendant from the pirate from the original story. And then so we get like a backstory of like how Rome was actually destroyed by this big kaiju fight, and all these events throughout history and time were really affected by kaiju, and the secret society kind of like holds that all together. And the big reveal at the end of it is the head of the society is President Thomas Jefferson.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and he's like, and there's a greater threat coming. So yeah, it's this cool secret society about kaijus. They all wear masks, and it's like our nation's history and our world's history has been shaped by. It's a really interesting concept. I'm loving. The more I read of this Here There Be Dragons series, the more everything really comes together. Like the entire story itself, it's awesome. It's really good.
I looked it up. It's issue 2.
Issue 2. Okay, thanks. I had a 2 there, and I can't remember why I put the 2. If it was from because it's part 2, but also issue 2.
I went back and read like issue 1 and 2 of the first series, because I only read issue 1 originally, and I dropped off just because life.
Yep.
And I'm really liking it. I'm going to dig deeper into it. So eventually I'll catch up too.
Yeah, it's really rewarding. Really check it out. That's all I had this week.
Oh,
no,
so
yep.
Absolute Power number 2. It's really, I mean, so you're probably gonna get more out of it because they talk a lot about Task Force 7 in here.
Yeah.
and like what they're doing. And there's a great moment where all the heroes are like fighting amongst each other, like who's in charge and everything. And you can tell how Justice League is going to come out of this, because Wonder Woman literally says at one point, like, we should have never disbanded the Justice League because now we like can't agree on anything.
Yeah.
And the Justice League like gave us a chain of command.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing there. But that's when Nightwing like kind of takes the head and says like, this is what we're doing. Which would never happen. Nobody would trust Nightwing.
No, come on.
Especially when Batman's in the room. Come on.
Yeah, come on.
And I thought the most out of character moment was Batman, actually, because that happens and Batman's just like, that's my boy. I'm like,
yeah,
no.
Yeah. Yep.
But outside of that, because I get like Titans of the Justice League right now, which thank God that's coming to an end. Outside of that, it's really great because they're all in the Fortress of Solitude. Like they're deciding to make this base. Nightwing tells everybody what they're going to do. And that's when Queen Brainiac like shows up and just like fucks up everybody's plans. And yeah, there's a great fight scene. We get to see what happened to John Kent, which was really interesting.
Okay.
It's a good issue all around. That first issue was so good.
Yeah.
This one's, you're never gonna be as good as that intro issue. Like, let's just be honest. But I like where they're going. I'll be interested to see where they take this. And it's not one of those things like with any good event, like certain people aren't going to be the same after, even if it's temporary. I get it. I've read enough comics, people, but I like these life-changing moments that are going to last into the next like phase.
Yeah.
And I could tell John is going to have a big change coming out of this because of what happens to him in this issue.
Cool.
So very interesting. I talked a little bit about Space Ghost #4 last week, but you know, here it is. Nice. And I just really like that book, so everybody should read it.
It's very good. Space Ghost is really good, everybody.
Yeah, and this one has a really cool villain in it. Like, really cool villain.
Yeah.
Gatchaman #2
nice.
came out. And just another one that I'm just really, really enjoying. It's so much fun, dude. I know, like, I kind of got, like, was given a hard time because I put in my review that, it feels like a Saturday morning cartoon. It's like, yeah, Chris, it's based on one.
Yeah.
But still, like, that feel of fun and adventure and just like everything going on and quick storytelling to like get through beats.
Yeah.
It's everything I want right now, just out of a fun, campy superhero thing.
It's awesome.
With cool villains. Where did my phone go? There it is. I also read Deadweights #5, which that series picked up. So I think the first issue was really good. 2 and 3, meh.
That's where I stopped right now. Is on issue 3, I think.
So get to, I think I told you this last time, but get to 4. If you don't like 4, you can kill it. But 5 continues. 4 is trying to be really good. And what I liked about 5 is they do a really great job. It's 20 pages of comics, and I think they hit every emotion on the spectrum.
Wow.
Like it's handled so well throughout it. So I think this book really had 2 issues that I didn't care for, but overall, so far, it's been a really great series, and I'm interested to see how it ends because there's only 6 issues. The Deviant #7. This series is so strange because it cuts away from the main story too much. I'm this far deep, so I got to finish it. But we meet this woman who makes these masks based on the serial killer, the Deviant killer, on Etsy, and that's like her whole thing. And then she's treated as like a witness, or she's treated as an expert by this FBI agent, which I'm just like the whole time, like, no.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
And there was a funny moment where she's like, I better clean up the house because they might make a Netflix documentary on this and they're going to want to interview me.
Oh my God.
Which was funny because I could just see a fucking person like that doing that.
Oh, hell yeah. You know it for sure.
But the B story, which should have been the A story, was the guy who got arrested for being accused of being the copycat killer, who was our main character in the first 6 issues or 5 issues. His boyfriend, husband, whatever he is, goes to see the killer and has a conversation. And the original killer has some sort of connection to the guy who was arrested. And that was very interesting. So there's things in there I like, but it cuts away from the main point too much. I think they could have cut some fat off this series and really made it more interesting.
Nice. Well, yeah. Then, hopefully, there's not too many books after.
I can't remember if it's 8 or 9 issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got to be coming to a close soon. And then you talked about Epitaphs of the Abyss, which I read last week. This week I read the EC comic Cruel Universe.
Oh, I did see that one, yeah.
Which is the same idea, but it's all sci-fi. So I got to dig deeper into it. I saw that they're doing more of these anthologies, and I kind of wish they had. Maybe they're going to do them yearly. I don't know how they're going to plan on doing them, but I would like to see them keep going because I saw like the possibility of a Old West one and all these different versions. But this one's sci-fi, so it's more my bag, and I really enjoyed it again. Like, there's one about a guy who finds this ship with like the most beautiful woman he's ever seen, but she's dead in the ship, and it's a one-person ship, and she's got these calculations on how she can use a black hole to time travel. So he's trying to figure out the murder and everything, and he goes, well, rather than that, I can use these calculations to go through the black hole and save her. And spoilers, I guess, but the big twist is that when he goes to the black hole to save her, he actually startles her. She attacks him with a knife, and he's the one that kills her.
Oh,
so creating a time loop.
Yeah, that's funny.
There's one about like gladiators on a distant planet, and that one has a cool twist. Like, it's just a fun book, 10-page stories. If you like anthology books, I think we're kind of in a new like renaissance of anthology books.
Yeah, that's what I think for mainstream comics for sure. Yeah,
like
bigger publishers. Yeah.
And kudos to the Kickstarter creators out there for keeping that alive. I know DC's done a bunch of like fun ones over the years, but these ones are like taken very seriously, and like I really like the stories that they're telling.
Yeah, it's cool.
And yeah, I mean, I did read Scarlet #2 because I didn't realize Scarlet #2 came out, but Scarlet #3 came out. So I'll talk about that next week when I read Scarlet 3.
Okay.
Mike, that was everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and/or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on most social media networks, including X or Twitter, as Mike calls it.
I don't learn new things. Sorry, everybody. Yeah.
And also at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. And you can find the show at FortressComics_ on X or Twitter. And also at FortressComicNews.com. And if you want a sports show, 5-star reviews and podcatchers, like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version of this show. And there's also patreon.com/FortressComics. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. See y'all here next week.
See ya.